This week it's the turn of this Ford Focus, which has sustained a nasty dent over the front wheel arch. As you can see, this has also cracked the paint on the face of the panel and underneath. Now, paint this dent removal is generally about fixing dents that have no paint damage. So should this be fixed with my method, and is it worth taking on something like this? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hi everyone, it's Jake Quintin from Dents, bringing you another repair showing you the art of paintless dent removal. And today this video is sponsored by Skillshare, but more about that later in the video. So you've seen the damage already from the intro and you're probably thinking, is it really worth repairing something like this with paintless dent removal, seeing that the paint has already cracked? Well, I also thought that initially, and I said to the customer that you'd really need to get this repaired and painted in a body shop. But after chatting to the customer, he said he wasn't too precious about the vehicle and he was just happy to touch in any broken paint afterwards with a touch-up pen. So in that respect, it was still going to be hundreds of pounds cheaper than putting it through the body shop. And the customer also had the option of getting it resprayed at a later date, knowing that the panel wasn't loaded up with body filler. Now, even though the panel has got cracked paint on it, it's still quite a complex repair as the panel has buckled and creased. So before I get started on this damage, let's take a closer look at what we're dealing with. The first thing to note is that this panel is made from mild steel, which is one of the most commonly used metals on motor vehicle panels today. Looking at the repair as a whole, the entire damage covers an area of around 560mm by 200mm. This particular panel has 3 noticeable body lines and all 3 have been affected by this damage. Now I'm going to break this repair down into 2 sections, Section A and Section B. Section A is the area of the main impact, and we can see that the most prominent bodyline has been deformed and pushed inwards by approximately 25mm. Under the PDR fog light you can see that the damage at this section is made up of various dents and creases, and we have these crowns shown here around the perimeter. Going back to Section B, this section is secondary damage which has been created as a result from the impact at Section A. As we can see, this has caused a buckle in the lower lip protruding outwards, which extends underneath the panel and has cracked the paint. From what I can tell, this does look like an original painted finish, although instead of using glue pulling, I will likely push all of this damage up from behind. As previously mentioned, we do have this cracked paint which the customer said he will touch up himself afterwards. So that's all the damage in detail. Time now to get started. As this wheel arch is quite creased, I will need to remove the complete wing liner, so I need to jack the vehicle up. Once this is done, I need to remove the various clips and screws that hold it into place. First I start with these plastic clips that are situated on the edge of the lower wheel arch. These clips pop out quite easily. I'll then concentrate on the rest of the fixings that hold it into place. Once these are all removed, I can take hold of the plastic liner and remove it in one piece. Then I can put it aside to be refitted later. The vehicle can then be lowered back down safely and I can start the repair. So here's a quick recap of everything that needs to be pushed up, and as you can see, it's quite a complex bit of damage. The first tool of choice is this double bend tool, and I'm starting with the large rubber tip. First I'm heating up the panel as I don't want to crack this already fragile paintwork. I'm then placing my bar under the panel and using the large rubber tip to feel around for the best areas to be pushed up first. Using this tool, I start moving across the panel, lifting up the metal in different sections, and I'm trying to lift up the metal as cleanly as possible to prevent creating any further damage. So considering I've only moved across the panel once with this tool, if we look at the damage reflected in this light, we can see that already it's starting to come out quite nicely. For the first crown, I'll be using my knockdown with a large rubber tip. I'm starting at the front of the wheel arch and I'm using this knockdown to remove this large gradual bulge or crown which was around the perimeter of the damage. I'm using this tool across the whole crown and I'm bringing it down slowly and gently. I'm then going in with my standard rubber tip to tap down the crown at the top of the panel as the crown becomes smaller and tighter in this section. Next I'm going to concentrate on this high ridge which goes across the bodyline between the curved top section and the flat section of the wheel arch. For this I'm going to use my standard rubber tip as this ridge is a lot tighter and the rubber tip will give me great control and will prevent me from putting any micro loads in the panel. Right, now I'm going to concentrate on bringing this high area down where the panel was kinked from the initial impact. This is what we call secondary damage, and is quite common on these panels as they tend to buckle at the edge when enough force is exerted on the panel. Again, I find the best tool for this is my standard rubber tip, as I can bring this kink back down in a controlled way without creating any further damage. As you can see, you can't bring these types of high areas down in one hit. You have to use several gentle blows to bring it down in a controlled way. I now have another high ridge to remove on the flat surface of the panel, which you can see here. To start with, I'm using my large rubber tip on my knockdown, and by using some controlled tapping, I can blend this raised metal back down again, as the wheel arch section here is supposed to be nice and flat. I'm also using my standard rubber tip to flatten this metal out. And there we go, that high ridge has now gone. I'm now going to work on this other raised area on the top of the curve section, which you can see here highlighted in red. For this raised area, I'm just using my large rubber tip. Again, as you can see, I'm working carefully over the whole raised area to bring it back down in line with the surrounding metal. So far, everything is coming together nicely. Now, when it comes to paintless dent removal, I don't really have a problem because I've been doing it for many years now and it just feels natural to me and I love doing it. Although when running your own business, there's much more to it than just performing the service, especially if you want to be productive with your time and succeed in earning what you're worth. Well, if you need help in these areas and want access to a great platform with classes that can help you to achieve your best, well then I can fully recommend Skillshare. It's a huge online community of creative and curious people exactly like me, where you can pretty much learn anything that you want. The great thing about Skillshare is that you can learn at your own pace, and all of their courses are ad-free, so you can always remain focused and in the zone when learning something that really interests you. I'm currently working through this course on Simple Productivity, How to Accomplish More with Less by Greg McKeown, which is great as it's really made me focus in on all the things I'm spending too much time on which are non-essential. And it's taught me some great day-to-day tips on getting more done whilst using all of my energy efficiently. So if you want to make 2022 a year of new learning and discovery and want to increase your knowledge in productivity, business skills, video editing, graphic design or anything else, then I can highly recommend Skillshare. They have everything you need to take your learning to the next level. To sign up, simply use the link at the top of my description. The first 1,000 people to use this link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Right, now let's get back to this repair. The next section I'm going to work on is this crease just on top of the wheel arch profile, which you can see here highlighted in red. So I've decided that the best way to attack this crease is from on top. So I'm going to take a look under the bonnet or the hood to see if there's any gaps. Here we can see a nice gap at the top of the panel, so I've laid down a couple of rubber sheets to protect anything from getting damaged. Next, after a gentle bit of heat to soften the paint, I then use one of my straight bars with a soft tip. Using this tool with a soft tip, I can start to push this crease out, bringing it in line with the surrounding metal. It's difficult to see from this angle, but from this view, I'm slowly working from the top part here and working my way down the panel. A little bit of tapping down and this crease is done. To start the fine tuning stage, I'm going to be using my medium point metal tip. In the fine tuning stage, I'm concentrating on all the little micro highs and micro lows, lifting them up and tapping them back down again. In this stage, it's really important to position yourself at various angles around the panel so you can make sure that nothing has been missed and that the panel looks great from all angles. Here you can see that I'm taking great care with the sharper tips, pushing up all the lows and tapping down all the highs. I'll continue doing this until the repair is finished and I'm really happy with the result. So after a lot of hard work, the repair is almost completed. Time now to put the plastic liner back into position. First I install all the torque screws back into place and then I finish off by pressing all the plastic rivets back into their respective holes. Once that's done, I can lower the vehicle back to the ground and check out the final result. Well, there you go, another job completed using the paintless dent removal process. As I said in my intro, initially when I saw this job, I wasn't going to take it on as I didn't see any benefit due to the areas of broken paint, but the customer reassured me that he wasn't too precious about this vehicle and was more concerned about the big ugly dent rather than the paint cracks. So with that in mind, it actually came out really well, and I'm sure it'll look even better when the customer touches in the broken paint. As you saw, I used various different tools and tips on this repair to achieve these results, and there was great access underneath, so that made it much easier to do. As always, if you like the video, it'd be great to get a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed and you like watching content like this, then why not hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified when a new video is uploaded. Also, there's lots of other videos like this on my YouTube channel, so please feel free to check out some of those, or maybe watch one of the suggested videos at the end of this one. But that's all for now. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.